Part digital, part film, part time. 529 Films.
Okay, we're about to see what's involved in making a film in 48 hours.
There you go.
And action.
Sam!
This was our first 48-hour film project, so we really could only guess at what was ahead of us. But you do the best you can to prepare. You try and get a good night's sleep the night before.
Being in a 48-hour film project, I was actually more excited than anything, but I wasn't quite sure what to expect either.
When you draw the genre, you're just kind of like thrown for a loop, because we had just come off making a horror movie, so that was the last thing we were thinking about. When we pulled horror, we literally walked out, the three from 529 and our writer, Edie, we got in a van and we sat there and went, okay, what are we going to do? Because we literally had no idea. But it just takes a few minutes when you've got talented people just to start going, okay, well, what are our locations?
Those juices start to flow as the kind of shots that you can come up with. You're already planning out the style and the movement, but also you got to keep in mind, you only have 12 hours, give or take, maybe 14, you're pushing it, because you got to edit everything out yet.
There's really no way to prepare for something like that. Knowing that you're not going to sleep, knowing that you're going to have to try and edit a movie without, sleep deprived, it's tough.
As far as preparing for the 48-hour film shoot, I don't know that you can ever really be fully prepared for it, because you actually get your genre and your prop and a line and a character the night that you start shooting. But what we did is we went to the website and we looked at some of the past videos that had been made. As producer, I had a lot of responsibilities. I made sure that we had all the proper gear. I had to make sure that we had our dolly there, and I had to make sure that Adam brought his jib.
We had several locations kind of planned and things like that, but once you start trying to come up with an idea on the fly like that, it literally became, Adam said, oh, I've got a family member who's got, a barn, and we talked about, well, let's just have a monster outside the barn that we don't see, and then we said, well, we've got these characters, and we started giving them the parts. It just became apparent that Al was going to be Don Denver. He just fit the role, and we knew that Rick Montgomery could play the deranged maniac, as it were.
I had to take care of all the paperwork. I had to make sure all the actors signed all the papers that we had to get.
Edie Hitchcock said, well, why don't we go out to my folks' place? They've got a couple of nice locations right around the house that we can use. We can use their kitchen, and you just start using those elements, and you're right to what you have. And I think that's one of the secrets to, being successful, is going, okay, work for what you have. Don't try to, just come up with something totally off the wall and out of the, out of bounds, and try and bring everybody to that. Bring your idea to the cast and the location.
I had to constantly make sure that everybody was on time that day.
We did not move very far from morning to evening, and I think that was a critical aspect to be able to get this project done. But we had to shoot in the woods, and we were shooting in a pond where the one actor gets killed. He's actually on an island, so we actually had to boat over to the island. At one point I was literally shoulder deep in water, shooting, and my whole fear the whole time was, if I tip over, not that the camera gets ruined, but I lost the tape.
And that, Andy was getting his job done. I mean, he's a good director, don't get me wrong. He's a great director, but you got to keep him on task.
As far as shooting, the trick on that is just kind of planning the day out. You know what shots you want, you've got your script.
So you really have to concentrate on quality shots and one or two takes of everything, or you're going to be in a lot of trouble time-wise.
You know, you have to know how long your shots are going to take you, at least in an area. You say, okay, we're going to shoot at the pond and we're going to kill this first victim, and it's going to take us an hour and a half, and then we're going to move over into the woods and we're going to kill this victim, and it should only take us an hour to do that.
We always had somebody yelling out the time, and then we knew we had to move on. Even if we knew we wanted one or two more shots, got to move on, you know. So it was great to have a second camera person, David Jeffries, very talented young man.
Basically, when it comes down to it, I was probably the most integral part of this team. But, you know, Andy gets the credit for the editing, and, you know, Adam gets credit for cinematographer, even though I kind of had to babysit this whole thing.
It's just a matter of funneling all this stuff into your end product, and that's basically just comes down to, you know, movie making. Making a film is having the vision and knowing how to work towards reaching that vision.
You know, the 48-hour project, at the end, when we originally turned the tape in and we were driving home, I don't think any of us said that we would ever do it again. And why did we do it to begin with?
We were miserable, you know, and you don't sleep. It's a pain. And you're like, why are we doing this?
I think when you're actually doing it, you don't realize you're having fun. I think when it's all said and done at the very end, that's when you go, wow, that was crazy, that was fun. I had a really good time.
2 days later, we're like, you know, whether we win or not, we should do this again next year to see if we can do better.
You know, you get some sleep in you and we're like, wow, you know what, that actually was a ton of fun. And I would absolutely do it again.
So we knew we were going to try it again no matter what, win or lose.
I would probably do it every year. It's just that much. To test yourself and pull it off is just a great time.
You're here, there's nothing I fear, and I know that my heart will go on. Will stay. Get in the lifeboat now. Trust me. Don't judge the lead.
I would definitely have to say that I probably guided everybody at one point or another. I don't think there's any way they could have pulled this off without me.
You're gonna make a box.
Yeah.
I'll cut you.
No.
This will be you.
Oh no.
I have a really small head. That's why.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell he was talking about.
Yeah, sure, man. What a moron. I mean, get me tapes, push the record button? Dude, what's that got to do with anything anyway?
I don't know. It's not like he was that much of a help. It's not like he was a Don Denver or anything like that.
Don, he was no Sherry Denver.
Hell no.
Jeez, oh man.